We are back the morning after the Super Bowl. What a big morning it's shaping up to be in the NFT space. For those of you that are new, we run this show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. Eastern time each and every week, where we discuss all things NFTs, crypto, finance, technology, entertainment, artificial intelligence, gaming, and everything in between. I'm your host, Pio, here with my co-host, Nifty Nick, the funniest man in the business, a true ray of sunshine in your life every single morning. I'm here with King Kicks, the CEO of Crypto Raiders, soon to release Cyber Stadium. Holy smokes, you're not going to want to fade that one. And of course, the intelligent degenerate. No one made more money in the bull run than King Kicks that didn't have a Bored Ape. Easy's Bodega, the founder of Bodoggos, the future #1 collection on the Solana blockchain, the host of GM Market Talk and Web3 Made Easy, a trader extraordinaire, one of the most technical people in the entire space. And of course, Bunny, your bio just says follow to win.
Yeah, man. Gabe's up 250,000 followers by putting that in his bio, dude.
Yeah, but what are people going to win if they follow you?
Well, technically there's no prize.
Retweet, follow me, comment below, and let me know. You get a chance to win. Also, go to my website, sign up at the newsletter, thenifty.com, sign up there, and then retweet every tweet I've posted over the past day. Actually, sorry, not over the past day, over the past week. Every single one of them, retweet every single one of them, and then for a chance to win. We won't be tracking that, by the way. But just go do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you do that, you actually can win something. I'm confused because I feel like Bunny is trying to use the hook, but Bunny, people have to be able to win something.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. Yeah, no, that's a misconception. Nick gets it, dude. This guy, Nick, he's a smart guy.
Oh, it seems like you and Nick are on great terms this morning, which is fantastic, especially on a Monday.
Trying to get to the pizza party.
You're trying. Oh, the New York pizza party that we might have.
Yeah, I heard about this pizza party. I'm very excited.
Okay, it'll be like the banquet after the baseball season when you're a little kid, where everybody gets a slice of pizza and a trophy. We also have Signal, the host of Artist Spotlight, one of my favorite people on the planet. No one follows the market at a higher level than Signal does. Welcome back to the show, Signal. Nick, how you doing this morning, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing well. I got myself a Digidaigaku dragon egg last night. I claimed it. The fact that I claimed it by first failing to on my phone and then switching to my desktop and then being able to claim it on there just shows how few people were able to pull that off. Also, shout out to all the people in the audience this morning showing up today. I think our audience is just exploding in size thanks to the Super Bowl, the NFT Super Bowl commercial. A lot of people are interested in NFTs now as a result of that. So
we were this close to getting my father-in-law. This close. I said, everyone get your, cameras out, scan this QR code. And then next thing you know, he's like, well, they're asking me for my birth date, and like, why am I signing up for this stuff? And I'm like, what? And I walk over.
Well, I just entered my social, and
no, he was signing up for Twitter. He doesn't have a Twitter account. And I'm like, you're signing up for Twitter right now. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm signing up for that Digi thing you told me to get. And I'm like, well, you see that blue bird right there? You're on Twitter right now signing in. He's like, screw this. And then just exited out of us on his phone. But we almost had him.
Too many clicks. The more clicks, the more buttons you have to press, that equals friction. And in the NFT space right now, quite frankly, you just have to press a lot of buttons. Didn't realize, so I didn't try to mint the thing. I just figured, I have enough magnificent NFTs. I'll let somebody else, grab this one. Did you have to actually connect your Twitter? Like, was that part of the deal? It would make sense.
No, you didn't. You
didn't have
to. Oh, wait. So now it has you. No, that's the later tweet that Gabe posted that you could sign up.
No, I wasn't thinking that I would need to have Wallet Connect like connected to the phone. I thought I was gonna have to like enter an email address and then it was gonna give me like a link to Mint or something. So I was on my mobile phone. On the mobile phone, like when you hit the QR code, it like loaded like a DigiPay, but it was like blank, right? And I think it was detecting if you had a wallet set up, and if not, it just auto redirected you to Gabe's Twitter.
Interesting. Okay, so just okay.
It was literally
everybody at my Super Bowl party went right to Gabe's Twitter.
Yes. Well, it redirected there actually after the claim had completed. So if you loaded the page, it just redirected you to Twitter, and then you'd follow him. So he ended up. We got someone, Benjamin, in the comments having a discussion of whether or not I have herpes on my face. So we were just having a nice little back and forth about that. Many people get confused about it. You know, when you look at, it's a pimple right below my lip. I just wanted to let people know that's,
yeah, I can tell that's not on the lip. You're fine.
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, but I told him he can come investigate. It would be useful to have someone kind of give me a definitive answer here, because I've been panicking about it for the past.
Yeah, it would look a little bit more like a staph infection. So you're fine.
Got it. Okay, cool. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Staph infections could kill you. I'm going to go ahead and throw out it's a little HSV, as us in the biz call it, Nick. And
well, I caught it from this Digidaigaku dragon, dude. Like I was having fun. By the way, you know how I usually top tick the buy? Today yesterday I top ticked the sale. So
you were up there, one of the highest sales. I saw it. I was gassed for you. I was like, let's go.
Damn,
Kix
son,
messaged me and was like,
find
do we
this?
buy these? Kix was like, do we buy these? And I'm sitting there watching the Super Bowl, scrolling my phone, watching every other Digi asset just slam WETH offers. Every single one of them. Heroes were dropping fast. Masked villains down to like 0.16. I've never seen WETH offers get accepted so quickly.
Someone texted me. They were like, why did you sell? I told them, they were like, were you able to get one of those? And I was like, yeah, I did. And they were like, why didn't you hold on to it? And I was like,
I've been around the block, baby.
You don't understand NFTs if you're holding on to these bad boys. Like there's no, anyways.
Look, the haters will always bring it up if you bought the top, but they'll never bring it up when you sold the top. So big salute to Nifty Nick for busting it out. Ladies and gentlemen, on to our daily question. We're going to have that pinned to the top here in just a second. Daily question today: what is the best advice that you've ever received? This has a little bit of depth to it, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of depth to that one. What is the best advice that you've ever received? Nick, what's the best advice you've ever received?
This is a hard question. The best advice I've ever received. This is a freaking tough question. I have no idea. How about you start with an answer rather than put us in a bind and give us time to actually think about it, because this is the best advice. Never hold on to an NFT for longer than 10 seconds is what I've been told.
I think the best advice that I've ever received is to work hard and smart. And my first boss at my first job out of college taught me that. He also taught me how to make me work incredibly hard for years and give me like 15% commission while he took 85%. So he was an interesting guy. But anyways, Kix, what's the best advice you ever received?
Yeah, great question. I think the best piece of advice I received, and I'm kind of butchering the quote, but basically, like, most people kind of overemphasize what they can do in a day and underemphasize what they can pull off in a year. And I feel like that's the most impactful piece of advice that I got, because when I first started, I was like, you're dumb. I'm just going to take an Adderall pill and crush today. And now as I'm older, I realized how much wisdom was in that piece of advice.
There you go. And we got some great responses from the audience already. Mr. Long said, don't eat yellow snow. Nobody can say that isn't good advice. Spyro said, if you're going to fail, do it fast and learn from it. Absolutely love that. Camila Noguera, very talented artist, said, the best things take time. Raf said, tears, no fears, and live life with no regrets, baby. Raf's doing it big. Love to hear it. Another don't eat yellow snow. It seems like a lot of people receive that advice and that they listen to it. Axila.e said, get uncomfortable. That's one of my favorite ones. I'm really big on doing things that make you uncomfortable and doing them until they aren't uncomfortable anymore, because that means you're getting better. That means that you're growing. Lurk loves you. Said, in retail business, never tell people you are dead and don't have anything to do. Customers don't want to buy from a store that's not selling anything. Very, very specific right there from Lurk, another talented artist. Juice said, just do it. Absolutely fantastic. And Frankenstein said, sell the news. So we got some wonderful responses from the audience on what the best advice they've ever received was. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into our weather report and newsletter updates in just 1 minute. Today's show is sponsored by Worst Case Decision, ladies and gentlemen. So check out the tweet that I have pinned to the top. It's Worst DAO, and the project is Worst Case Decision. We're really, really thrilled to actually have Mark, incredibly talented artist, Mark Horowitz, on the show later. He's an LA-based artist that is acting as the ambassador for this collection. If you retweet the tweet that's pinned to the top and follow Worst DAO, you'll be entered for a chance to win. We're giving one Worst Case Decision PFP away, and then we're also giving away a full season of the Worst Case Decision NFTs away on the show. So there's going to be 2 winners. It's going to be an absolutely badass project to learn about. So again, retweet that tweet that's pinned to the top and follow Worst DAO for a chance to win. Nick, go ahead.
I just wanted to say there is some great advice that I did receive, and I didn't share that. And I want to apologize for not knowing that right off the top. And it comes from an old Chinese parable.
Okay.
You know, there was an old man who a farmer who lives with his father close to the border of the barbarian territories. And without his fault and without being able to influence them, the farmer goes through various situations which all have important consequences for him. His horse runs away, and someone comes up to him and says, you know, I'm so sorry that you lost the horse. That's an awful situation. And he says, I don't know if it's good or bad. And they say, really? And he says, yep. And then after weeks, the horse finds his way back and brings along other horses from the barbarian territories, thus increasing the farmer's property. And everyone says, wow, congratulations. You now have an entire family of horses. This is incredible. And he says, I'm going to be honest, I don't know if it's good or bad. And then he tries to ride one of the wild horses, falls and breaks his leg, which reduces his physical capacities and makes it difficult for him to be a farmer. And people say, my gosh, this is an awful situation. You're not going to be able to farm as much. And he says, I'm going to be honest, I don't know if it's good or bad. And then when the barbarians attack the borderland, the injured farmer is not drafted and does not have to join the battle to help with the defense, whereby he and his father survive and escape death. So it turned out that it was a good thing. So the reality, the advice there is, don't focus on the outcomes of, because you don't know whether or not they're going to be good or bad. And that's a famous Chinese parable.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess all I can say in response to all that is thank you, Nick. Thank you so much for everything that you just contributed. That was fantastic. Some other buzzer beaters here from some of the other listeners. Just Blue said, scared money don't make no money. That's great advice. And JPEG Curator said, floor your portal. Easy knows that advice all too well. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into the weather report right here. Weather team, please take it away.
Awesome. It's great to have the Roadcaster back and just get a little background action coming in. Here we go. Today is Monday, the 13th of February, 2023. We've got OpenSea coming in at 10.8 million, Blur 7.9. Total weekend volume was some of the lowest we've seen this month. People must have been watching the Super Bowl. Leaders, 874.6, Mutants 15.8, Punks 61.8, Azuki 14.5, Doodles dumping 5, Moonbirds dumping 6.2, Pudgies 5.2, Clone X about to get removed from the leaderboard 4.5. Over the past 24 hours, Digidaigaku Dragons egg mint volume so far over 1K ETH. in volume. The free mint reached an all-time high of 0.6 before settling at 0.35 this morning. On Sunday, checks burn commenced, and so far we've seen over 5K checks burnt. That's almost 30% of supply. Checks floor price has been a steady pullback from 2.7 ETH down to sub 1 ETH. Aggregator DAOs continuing to work towards that final black check, led by the largest whale holders. Floor is 0.93 on checks VV Originals. Vincent Van Doe tweeted there'll be no burn for Pepe checks, but instead announced notable Pepes. Last week, VVD heavily bought into his own collection on secondary market, with Pepe checks serving as the access pass for notable Pepes. Pepe checks with 237,000 supply, still trading at a premium of $13. Lastly, one of the biggest winners over the weekend was Life in America by Roop Rainstow, hard name. The AI art collection continued to see strong interest from the market. The mint was 0.1, went all the way up to 3 ETH on Friday, surged up to 6.3 ETH. I was having a better morning until I found out I'd missed out on generational wealth. Quickly looking over at crypto, we're getting a little bit dumpy-wumpy here. We got Bitcoin, 21.6, ETH, 1482. That's under 1,500. Solana pulling back, 20.9, 20.48. Ape dumping as well. Back to you in the studio.
Absolutely fantastic weather report. As usual, Kick, some other updates from the Nifty Daily Digest, which is the daily newsletter released by the Nifty. You can sign up at thenifty.com. That's THENIFTY.com. The Digidaigaku Super Bowl ad aired during the first quarter of the game, linking to the Digidragon Eggman and to the founder Gabe Layden's Twitter account. Linkin Park's new music video, Lost, was directed by NFT artist People Pleaser, featuring the lead character from the White Rabbit. For those of you that remember that ERC 1155 token that was released, White Rabbit, very interesting to see her getting such a big gig. The memes by Punk6529 announced meme card number 65 as fuck render and airdrop meme lab number 2 for season 1 full set holders. Twin Flames creator Justin Aversano announced an exclusive Bitcoin mint, Colin in the car, an edition of 250, along with a signed print for all collectors. I believe Nick actually got his hands on one of those, so that's very cool stuff. Other than that, we got Vince Van Doe, as Kix mentioned, introducing notable Pepes. Coinbase is defending its staking services in court against the SEC. They published an article saying that they should maintain that staking services does not mean that they are securities. Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, asserts that he's willing to defend this in court. Last but not least, Binance's stablecoin is canceled. U.S. regulators have ordered Paxos, the issuer of Binance's U.S. dollar stablecoin, to stop creating more of the Binance token. CZ, the CEO of Binance, responded that Binance will continue to support BUSD for the foreseeable future, although they will make plans for people converting to other stable coins. Those are your updates from the Nifty Daily Digest. Again, ladies and gentlemen, subscribe at thenifty.com. That's THENIFTY.com to subscribe to that newsletter. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to talk about. The Super Bowl commercial was yesterday. I'm really interested to hear what everybody on stage thinks about what went down with the Super Bowl. If you scan, just to give people context, if you scanned the QR code in time during the Digidaigaku commercial, you were able to mint a dragon egg, which had a limited supply, 10,000, that could be minted. The initial floor was 0.6 Ethereum, but it's basically been on a steady downtrend. It's now at around 0.34 Ethereum. It's done 1,100 Ethereum in trading volume since the commercial. In the hour after the commercial aired, there were 45 Digidaigaku Genesis sales, 43 of them being wrapped Ethereum offers. I think Easy called that out at the beginning of the show, those WETH offers being accepted. The Digidaigaku Genesis floor has since gone from 12 ETH pre-commercial to now a dip at 9.5 ETH post-commercial. So I guess my question is, how do you guys feel about the Digidaigaku Super Bowl commercial? I see Spencer's hands raised. Let's get Nick's take, and then we'll go to Spencer, and then we'll work the mic all around. Nick, what are your thoughts on the Digidaigaku Super Bowl commercial?
Well, on the Digidaigaku thing, I got an NFT. I sold it for almost $1,000, so I got that
Very
for
nice.
free, and everyone else can just take a hike. Gabe Layden is an absolute fucking genius, and had I not gotten that, I would have been joining everybody else discussing how awful that this is publicly. But I got one of them, so he essentially paid me to say this. It only cost him $7.5 million for me to get $1,000. And I feel like that's a reasonable ROI. In all honesty, from a marketing standpoint, this was a complete disaster and train wreck. Anyone who's ever done any digital marketing could have probably cooked up a landing page better than this in about, I don't know, a day. What was interesting is we'd already seen the video of the Super Bowl. So I'm wondering, I did confirm, I went and looked at how long. Was that a 15-second ad or a 30-second ad?
Not sure. It felt short.
It felt short. So I'm actually, what I'm trying to figure out is, was it really $7.5 million? Because $7 million is what the 30-second ads cost.
I believe it was six for the ad space, and then one to make the ad, maybe.
$1 million to make that graphic that says click scan
We're
your
in the wrong
QR code.
business, boys.
I mean, it was an animation. So, okay. So you're in the position that it wasn't the best ad. What would you have thought could have gone better? Like, what would you have been looking for the ad?
Well, there were no free NFTs that were given out.
There were 10,000.
Sorry, there were 10,000 free NFTs. My apologies.
Only
and actually, it was
5,000
5,000.
were in the ad. 6,000 pre-minted. 2,500 given to Igor Letterman to give away on freenft.xyz. So now you're down to about 3,500 that got airdropped after to people who could not watch the ad. 4,000 that were actually claimable through the ad.
And you can only claim that if you were reading his tweets. When you land on his Twitter account and you see the Twitter account, it's like it's all filled with all of his standard stuff. Retweet this, follow me, like this. My bigger question is, well, man, I have so many questions now after seeing that ad. One, does retweeting, liking any of his tweets have any impact? My assumption all along has been no. And I think that's
confirm it doesn't, because I want a digi-masked villain and I've never retweeted or liked it. I just applied on the application on the website.
So I can say, yeah, I've assumed that was the case all along. That's hilarious. Basically, he's just farming Twitter. The second thing is, could you imagine being an investor? Like, what is the structure in which, if we ran ads against our personal Twitter account with company funds, I personally would think twice about it. But I'm imagining the investors would also think twice about why is it going to Gabe's Twitter account and not to the Digidaigaku Twitter account is something that's also interesting, because they're like, who is this dude? Like the average person is going to be like, who's this guy? And what does that have to do with the ad that I just watched? What even was the ad that I just watched? What am I getting? I have no clarity whatsoever about what Digidaigaku is, what I'm even getting, how I get the thing that I'm getting, and then why I should be following this guy. And so that's the thing where the whole thing was just like a complete ridiculous. I don't know. It just feels like a complete waste of money. Even the Coinbase one last year was pretty interesting. If Gabe shows up, someone said if Gabe shows up, we can get him on board. But I don't see him in the audience. I think he's recovering from last night. But he said he will come on again, and we will pepper him with questions about this subject.
So one thing is, at the little get together I was at, someone immediately said, "Oh, is this a mobile game?" So I think that there was a little bit of recognition toward the style of ad that was aired. Someone in the audience said they should have shown an actual trailer for the game. Something like that might not be around yet, right?
But if you look at the games that he dropped before, Game of War, their entire ad play was never showing the actual gameplay.
Okay.
but showing way more detailed stuff. Like I looked this morning on the 8 a.m. show at the reviews and the feedback on it, and every single response is this ad is not the game. Like that was like the most common response is like these commercials, this advertisement is not the actual gameplay.
Well, but isn't that part of the mobile game playbook? I feel like there's always
100%. Like
right?
100%. That is every mobile game. They show something that's not the game to get you to download it. And then it's some form of like easy to play, repetitive, quick dopamine hit like cycle where you end up downloading it, realize that's not the same game, but it's fun enough that you don't uninstall it.
But there's no, how do you follow up with the people that just followed Gabe? Like, that's the thing that I just don't understand. And then the majority of people didn't even follow him. A lot of the other landing pages I've seen that they've been doing all along are log in with Twitter, which is also just a crazy bold approach in order to do it. How did the Coinbase thing convert last year when you scanned the QR code?
Was it like Coinbase, entered an email, and then gave your account creation $10?
And also, I think entered you to like win something, right?
I think it was like a Bitcoin or something,
or a Bored Ape.
No, it wasn't an NFT. It was like an X amount of crypto.
Okay. Well, whatever the circumstance,
their only advert was a QR code going around the screen. There was no text, no words, no music. It was just a QR code floating.
But even in that case, there was a landing page that it went to, and that's where I feel like there's an opportunity to be like, why do I take the next action? And there was literally no communication whatsoever about why should I take the next action other than the minting aspect of things. So it's just like a weird, anyone who's done landing page creation, I feel like would probably be like, hey, this is an odd landing page because it didn't give any information about what it was. It was just take this action. So yeah, that's just a weird, I don't know. It just feels weird.
So we have Spencer with his hand raised. Spencer, and we'll go to Signal afterwards. Spencer, what's going on, amigo?
Hey, Pio, good to see you guys. So my experience of this was that I was at a Super Bowl viewing party with some friends. I was like, yo, guys, like there's going to be an ad for an NFT free mint. I think it's pretty plus EV. You should whip your phones out when it happens. You just mint it, right? And so ad comes on. It's super early in the Super Bowl. He whips out their phone, scans it. I hear everyone laugh. I'm like, what? I look, and it's taken me to Gabe's personal Twitter. And I had a choice then. I was like, oh, man. I think one of his personal tweets is how to mint this. But I was like, no. The most plus EV thing here is I need to just go sell everything. And so instead of minting, I just went and floored all of the digis that I had because I just can't even think of a more obvious top signal that you need to get out of a project than that the founder spent company money promoting his personal Twitter. Like there's just no excuse to me. And you guys are being like, oh, well, maybe this or that. I just can't. Like, it is.
We're in the same boat, Spencer.
I feel like he could be sued for this by investors for like misuse of funds or something. Was like my initial thought. I'm like, wait, can we just do this?
Here's the thing, too. Zero people. There was maybe like 20 people at this party. 0 people clicked any of the links to follow to do the mint. And like again, this like I had always been excited about this because I was like, give us this opportunity to have this really simple onboarding process, non-custodial. You don't need a wallet. The mint process, you need a wallet, right? Or sorry, yes, custodial. Like you don't need a wallet, right? But the mint process, you needed a wallet. And so like, and you needed to go to his Twitter, find the link in the many things he tweeted that went to it. Click that. There was a time-based thing. Like this wasn't like you guys know I'm not a big like onboarding the masses person, right? But like this was an opportunity to do that. And to do it, you need to have a mint where most people who clicked got something, right? And that's what Gabe's always talked about on Spaces, which is what's so baffling to me. His big thing has always been, giving someone a free NFT is better marketing than paying for a click per download advert, right? And so you would think that like scanning the link should have sent you to get a free NFT, any size free NFT, right? It doesn't matter. It shouldn't have been like some limited supply where they minted half of their own supply. Like there's so many things that didn't make sense to me about this. And I think like one of the big challenges that I've seen with Gabe in the space is he comes off kind of spammy because he has this spammy background. And so a lot of the whales that I know haven't really figured out how to think about Gabe, right? And I think this did a lot of reputational damage that I see being very hard to undo, where like there's two demographics. You have to please the sort of retail in NFTs, but there's a lot of capital in NFTs that's controlled by like big accounts, right? And that's who sold off yesterday, because all the big accounts were like I have to get on a call later today with my investors and tell them about this happening. Like I couldn't in good conscience still be holding the asset, but I had that call today after what he did yesterday. It just blows my mind how much he's alienated like bigger bag holders.
His follow-on tweet thread was him expressing the grand success that this ad was. If you're wondering, Spencer, not sure if you saw that one. He said, and maybe I can recap real quick. He said, when we announced our commercial, we were told all the reasons we would fail. Website crash, website hacked, ETH too slow, ETH gas war, NFTs botted. None of those happened. The technical execution was flawless. It's an awesome feeling to have given out 4,000 NFTs through television like that. It's absolutely magical in the future of TV. I'm really excited and looking forward to doing that again soon for our games. We're going to keep pushing the boundaries of NFTs. Next, we give on-chain royalties to our holders for the NFTs they own. The future of free NFTs is the holder gets the royalties. This is yet another thing that we've been told is impossible, but it's happening.
I wish you could just read all of my tweets. Like literally I could just put like voice to Nick and just click that and you could just read all the tweets on my feed. I would love Twitter 10 times more.
Well, it should just on this subject, it should be mentioned that Gabe's tweet about the Dragons did get 1.6 million impressions. And so I want to do a little emoji exercise with the audience before we throw to Signal. How did you feel about the commercial yesterday? Thumbs up if you liked it and thought it was a well done marketing campaign. Thumbs down if you felt like it wasn't executed at the level that it could have been. I'm looking for any audience responses. Not seeing
Tremor
a ton
says down.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing others. The emoji's hard to scroll through 1,000 of them.
Tig just said down. Rice Farmer said down. So we're getting some downs. Next,
Buckle
Tuggy
up,
saying
down.
Ivan said up, or he's actually just doing up and down. He's basically trolling me. A lot of downs. Yeah, Hodel saying down. Wiley saying down.
I saw one up from Ignorance is the person's name. Nick Knack says down. Rija.eth says down. Sozo says down. Jay down. Lay down. Jay and Lay. They rhyme together.
There you go. And so we're going to throw to Signal. We just left Frank on stage too, so we'll have to hear from him. Signal, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, like I think Spencer gives a really good institutional perspective. I was just thinking of it from more of a retailer's perspective, because the ad going to his Twitter account is getting quite a lot of criticism for that. But what I was thinking was the flip side. Like if the Super Bowl ads are like Budweiser, Diageo, all these household names. If you don't know who Digidaigaku is and you click on that and there's no one to tell you like it's an NFT, et cetera, and you go on the account and it's Digidaigaku, you're probably going to have a much higher bounce rate than if you went to a personal ad and then you see it's Gabriel and if the person takes the action, they Google who he is and they find out he's a legitimate person. I think he's getting like too much flack for going to his personal, because I think going to personal would have less of a bounce rate than going to the company. Like Digidaigaku against all the other big names in the Super Bowl, people's attention isn't really focusing on like who is Digidaigaku. I want to find out what that company does. I think between the two choices of those accounts, his is better over the company's.
Interesting take. Bunny has his hand raised. Bunny, any comment here?
Yeah, I'm not as bearish on this whole thing as everybody else, but like similar to what happened with Spencer, right? Like all my homies scan the QR code. Like this just in terms of like the onboarding experience. One of my friends did get through to the page and then just it prompted him to install MetaMask, right? And then so he started doing that whole thing. And then he was like, yo, I gotta save 12 words. He's like, I gotta remember 12 words. And then he just gave up. So.
I got to remember 12 words, and I'm not supposed to save it digitally, by the way. So let me put down the nachos on my lap.
Screenshot that bitch. I was like, screenshot it. You have nothing in there. Let's see if you can get this thing.
He
just quit.
let me put down the buffalo wings and grab a notebook, and let me after I drink a half a dozen more beers, let me remember to bring this home with me. Okay, well, very interesting. So look, we got Frank DGods on stage. Frank, your bio says that you're a social experimenter. I like that title. I'm going to start calling myself a social experimenter as well. But the founder of DGods and Utes.
Never heard of it.
All around badass. Frank, what's going on, amigo?
Yeah, so I was I was at my little brother's place. He goes to Loyola Marymount University, and so there was a bunch of 21-year-olds there, and it was like guys, girls. I was like a boomer. I'm 23, but I felt like a boomer in the room, and I was hyping the fuck out of this fucking Digidaigaku thing. I was like, guys, generational wealth inbound. Get your fucking MetaMasks ready. They were all just looking at me like, bro, you really like, what is going on? And then when it comes up, it was just like an audible cringe. Like it was an audible cringe when it came up. I was like, guys, this is the one. This is the one. And they're like, oh, what? But this is the thing. Look, I'm just not the type of guy that switches up just after something like this. I think Gabe probably knows the L and the dub, like on both sides of it. What I'll say is what was interesting to me is how he definitely categorized this as an unequivocal W, with this tweet that summarized the experience. And that's the thing I would just, warn is, I mean, look, at the end of the day, the person with the biggest reach tends to write the narrative. And I guess like this is just going to be an expensive test, and learning lesson for Gabe at the end of the day, but he has the war chest to do it. So, I don't know. I just like, to me, Gabe's just not a dumb guy, right? And I think everyone can agree on this. Like, he's not a dumb person, and so I'd be shocked if he doesn't learn from this experience. And I think Spencer brings up some definitely valid points. I'm just calculating into my decision to hold my digis. So stop flooding my bags, Spencer, please. I'm holding my digis, riding hard because the homies make mistakes sometimes, but rooting for the comeback. Rooting for Gabe, not switching up like that. He's a homie, so yeah, it's
Frank,
tough.
There is a thing there too, which is that if you look at the numbers, Pogaki, when he swept the 69 DGods, got more engagement successfully farmed than Gabe did buying a $3 million ad. So the real lesson here was that the better use of funds would have been sweeping. If he spent the $6 million sweeping some DGods and some Utes, he almost certainly would have engagement farmed harder, better, and with a higher quality audience.
Oh, bro would be the king of fucking Twitter.
Is there any like bearishness out of the fact that he's just lying? Like that's the one thing to me, which is like kind of unacceptable from a marketing standpoint, which is like, I mean, it's time for us to just start doing that. Basically, hey, everybody, we're doing giveaways. Retweet, like, and follow. And then also, we just spent $40 million from our company on an ad. Because I can just say that we did that. So it's $40 million. That's how much we spent. And we bought a private jet. So you may see us flying around on that private jet soon because it's important that we commute between meetings. I also am really excited. I'm excited to announce. Sorry,
honestly,
1 second, Frank. It's time that we announce the acquisition of DGods. We have acquired Frank's company. DGods and Utes is now owned by us. Okay, so I just want people to understand that that's what's going on. And welcome to the team, Frank.
We got
an honor, sir.
We got an all-star, but we hired Clemente.
Those mini Kit Kats were definitely worth it.
We hired Frank. Pretty good stuff. Look, I got to hear from Easy and from Node. If I was going to weigh in with my opinion, I don't know if I'm going to chalk this up as like a definite L yet, because at the end of the day, you see it when Gabe came on our show on Friday. Gabe has an incredibly sticky audience. He's built up this tremendous amount of momentum. I always wonder what people were expecting. I mean, the ad looked like a mobile game ad, which is the world that Gabe comes from. And you could argue it potentially is the world that Digidaigaku, the platform or the game, exists in. So he just went and he participated that way. Having it go to his personal Twitter is interesting. Now I wish that I had actually taken the phone out and done the scan so I could have gone through that conversion funnel myself to really understand how I would feel.
Wait, you didn't even scan it?
No, I figured let other people get a shot, man. I got enough high value NFTs, bro.
He also doesn't hold any ordinals.
Yeah,
PO's no better than just saying that like, retweet, follow, man. He's the same thing here.
Oh, come on, man. Everybody else look, I got enough good shit going on for me to go in and start hogging the Digidaigaku Galaxy eggs from normies. That would just literally be rude. I mean, holy smokes. Like, you got to be an asshole to do that when you got
to say, the Trump NFT did a better onboarding experience for a wider audience than these, by far. Like, it was way easier to get people involved. I minted that. I tried to mint this. It was effortless to mint the Trump one. I did have my complaints because I went to an escrow wallet, pumped up the unique wallet counts. But I think it's also clear that, like, there's still people outside the space talking about these. And, like, that is a win in itself and didn't cost $7 million. So, like, they went the Polygon route. Their floor price is cruising. So even from, like, an NFT standpoint, we're still interested in it. People that don't even know how to
10x from mint.
10x from mint, still as of this moment. And, like, people are still talking about it because they're moving. And the speculation, if, like, they get brought up by Trump whenever he's back on Twitter, they're going to absolutely, like, these things would explode. And the thing is, there was 25,000 of them, 20,000. Like, that alone was effortless. Like, I went to Costco and the person was asking when they were going to get them physically delivered. So, like, clearly there's, like, still some confusion, but they went and spent a credit card to buy a digital trading card for their first thing just because that onboarding experience was far easier.
Well, I mean, all they need to know is better than Lincoln, better than Washington.
Right?
Better than Lincoln.
Gabe tweeted that they raised $200 million. Was that already the amount that they had raised previously, or this is a new announcement?
That's from Paradigm. That's their total.
Okay, because he tweeted out 14 hours ago that an announcement of their fundraise. So I guess that's just a continue. Is there new money? It's not clear to me, and there's no date on the article that it's linked to, so it's not clear what the synopsis is. And what was your explanation, Kix?
That they raised the $200 million already. It's in two tranches. Paradigm's the lead. 100 million they got up front, and then the second 100 million I'm guessing is on some sort of time or like deliverable performance based.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we heard the opinions. We got Node and Frank with their hands raised. I'm going to throw to them in just a second. Reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that today's show is sponsored by Worst Case Vision. We're going to be talking to Mark and the gang later in the show to discuss what the deal is with the collection. It's a project funded by NounsDAO and going to be released as an NFT series, so you definitely want to stick around for that. Again, the show is sponsored by Worst Case Decision, and we're going to learn more about it later in the show. Node, you have your hand raised. What are your thoughts? Then we'll throw to Frank.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of a more inefficient way to do what he did, but that's kind of like the way that every single Super Bowl ad goes. So I suppose I can see how he would say this is a success because he gave out all the NFTs he wanted and he grew his follower count. But obviously, it's an actual L. I will say it actually, I get why he sent everyone to his Twitter account, though, because in our world, like that, he is the marketing engine for his game. So in a way, like I do understand that that's why he did it, but I can't think of a worse way to go about it than spending $7 million. So, and by the way, I missed it because I was too busy watching the StarCraft 2 World Championships, which were epic, absolutely epic.
Electric.
I think most people were watching those, Node. Over to Frank, who has his hand raised. Then we'll move on to discussing the incoming Blur airdrop, another big story from inside the NFT space. But Frank, what's on your mind?
No, maybe he should have dropped it on Polygon.
You're saying that Gabe should have dropped it on Polygon?
Oh, yeah, for sure he was talking about this Trump, the Trump trading cards. They went kind of crazy. Just I heard there's another cool collection going to Polygon soon, so maybe that was the move to just think in future tense. But
and let me you that Soldier boy.
Very, very random contribution from Kix there, tagging on at the end. I will say that the Trump video was really good, where he said he was better than Washington and better than Lincoln. So that might have had something to do with the success of the 40,000 NFT collection. That video was really fucking good.
Was that like scripted? I'm assuming that was scripted beforehand and he just read off the teleprompter,
it was AI.
essentially.
It was AI.
Trump is a teleprompter, dude. His whole, like, basically Trump's whole life is reading off of teleprompters, and he's damn good at it, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, moving on to the Blur airdrop. The Blur airdrop is coming in. It is basically, so for those of you that don't know, I'm assuming most listeners know, but just to give a little context, Blur is an NFT platform, like a marketplace platform, and the Blur token and airdrop is actually scheduled to go live tomorrow on Valentine's Day. Blur's been using this token to incentivize the behavior for users on their marketplace. The most recent token incentive was towards bidding on collection. What this did is it caused massive airdrop farming, which made big bid walls on various collections, causing many of them to pump in December, given that increased liquidity. Those bid walls, though, since then have started to thin out because the farmers, as we're calling them, are taking their bids away, and a large percentage of WETH offers started being accepted. So there is a fear that the Blur airdrop farming has been basically propping up the NFT market, and once that's gone, it's going to cause a market dip. A couple questions for you guys. I'll start with Nick. How much do you think that this airdrop's even going to be worth? And is it a situation where the recipients of the airdrop should just sell it right away? Yeah, we can get into another question after that. But what are your thoughts on that, Nick? Do you think that this is going to be significant? I also have to hear from Spencer what he thinks on it. But Nick, please take it away.
Yeah, I was just going to throw to Spencer to see how much money he thinks he's going to make off of this situation and whether or not he'll be selling all of his position right away. And I guess he can't say that he'll be selling it right away. I think publicly he has to say, no, of course, I'll be holding on to this indefinitely, while he's like literally dumping it on the market. I also regret that yesterday, that we had intended for the 14th to be the launch of our thing, because I wanted to share the love with the community, but we're off by a couple days here. So unfortunately, you're going to have to wait, and it's not going to be on Valentine's Day. And so someone like me is just going to be sitting there sort of feeling lonely and alone during it, maybe a boost of depression as well. If anyone has any medication suggestions that one would take to resolve this, to cure the broken, empty heart that I have, then that would be great. But as for the Blur airdrop, maybe Spencer can share.
Go ahead, Spence.
Yeah, so I'm definitely selling some and keeping some. I've actually already sold some, so there's been kind of an interesting OTC market going on right now. I think people are way underestimating there's an OTC market for future tokens essentially right now. Amongst whales, the market cap that they're trading at is in the like several hundreds of millions. So like I've seen people like looking to buy token allocations for people who have big percentages of the airdrop at like a $700 million market cap. And I don't think that that's unreasonable. I think that that is actually like pretty reasonable, and it wouldn't shock me if it was significantly higher. Because you got to look at like LooksRare is sitting at a pretty high, it's like $100 million, $150 million market cap right now, doing almost zero volume, right? You got to look at something like, okay, OpenSea raised at $12 billion market cap last year. Now that's probably way too high. Like I would value OpenSea now somewhere in probably the $2 billion market cap, but LooksRare is doing more volume than OpenSea, right? And you can't like, there's so much capital at the institutional level that like, they were like, yeah, like I want to make a marquee investment like OpenSea. I can't tell you the number of times I've heard that from like big funds. And so like LooksRare is their only other chance to get exposure to a marketplace play right now that feels competitive to OpenSea. And so I don't even think $1 billion market cap is out of the question on LooksRare. They've certainly, raised at hundreds of $1 million market cap. I did not say LooksRare was doing more. Someone just DM'd me to say if I said LooksRare was doing more volume than OpenSea. I said Blur was doing more volume than OpenSea. And so Blur, like, I don't know, like I'm incredibly excited. There's also like, if it's in like the $100 to $150 million range, I may just buy more. I think that this runs up more than people are expecting. We will likely see a pretty big sell off. Like a lot of people are going to get airdrops, just free money and just dump it, right, as per usual. But I think that there's more people waiting in the wings who are not necessarily NFT traders, but this is like coin funds. These are like coin venture funds that have 100 million AUM. Like there's a lot of those. And I think they are hungry for exposure to Blur, because if you want like index exposure to NFTs, like marketplaces tend to be the way that things do well. It's also like worth noting that in traditional crypto, like the biggest win ever was just venture backing Coinbase, right? And so like exchanges are really, really, really popular amongst savvy capital.
Yeah, I mean, it should be mentioned that the previous airdrops, the most notable airdrops that we've seen in the NFT space, ENS, SOS. I mean, there's been so many. ApeCoin. I'm trying to think of more. There's definitely more. Botto.
Looks rare.
Looks rare. Bonk. They all ran afterwards, right, Kix?
Yeah, I mean, it was more of like a bull market, especially on the coin side. But yeah, it pretty much without fail, if you got an airdrop, the play was to buy more instead of selling your airdrop.
But there was a distinction with those, right? Like the difference was I got one because I deserve it, as an ape owner, as a punk owner, as someone who deserves more money for free. I received that without any action on my part whatsoever. So it was like, oh, Merry Christmas. Here's $25,000 deserved. Whereas with this one, I haven't been trading on Blur. So I'm going to get a very nominal, very small amount here because I did whatever the sign up with Blur was early on. But I haven't been trading actively on there in order to farm Blur tokens. So I think that that's like a major distinction here. Looks Rare had a combination where there was ongoing farming, but the price has just gone down ever since that initial pump. So to Kix's point, yeah, buying in early on worked. How's Botto looking right now? I mean, I remember us selling.
Botto actually went on a run up because it got caught up in like the whole AI narrative.
Mm-hmm.
It did like a 10x because like I guess AI coins like went on a whole run because of Chat GPT and everything like that. Because I randomly started seeing people talking about Botto. And I found out I actually left like $4,000 in the LP pool like a year ago. So I've just been farming Botto unknowingly. So I should probably floor that pretty soon. I think the AI coin thing's going away.
I think selling it's probably a good call. We got Shark on stage. He's weighed in on the Blur airdrop before. Will be definitely interesting to see how this one plays out. But Shark, what's going on, amigo?
Yeah, I think Spencer kind of mentioned Looks Rare as a Freudian slip because we've seen this movie before. It's like the token encouraged inorganic behavior that increased the market, inflated prices, increased bids. If they don't have a mechanism that increases that or continues that, it's just the market's going to unwind. They're going to have the organic activity coming in. And as far as the valuations go, I mean, I don't know if they've even put out the exact utility of this token, but it's not like you're getting equity in the company. So you have it like OpenSea could raise up billions of dollars, but this is not, I don't know the exact supply, the creation of it. I feel like there's not a lot of details out there, but yeah, I mean, I think Blur as a marketplace is definitely the best UI that I've used, the best trading. Like I'm bullish on Blur, but I think it's dangerous when you start trying to incentivize behavior in a decentralized market. But yeah, I'm interested to see how the trading goes.
It's going to be interesting. What kind of value are we expecting right out the gate? Like I know Spencer had done a little bit of mental math on it. Shark, I don't know if you've looked at it. Like any ideas market cap wise, or I don't know if we know the supply of tokens that we're going to see. Any thoughts on that stuff?
Yeah, Spencer probably better than that, but I guess until you determine the exact amount of supply and circulating supply, any type of locking mechanisms, it's like not really worth it for me to try to think about the price. But yeah, once the supply is out there, more details, I'll start digging into it.
Sure. And Spencer, I don't know if you have any insight into that.
Yeah, I mean, so like again, they've done some venture rounds. It wouldn't shock me if they did another venture round at a much higher cap. I think at this point, like again, I'm a buyer in the $100 million to $150 million cap range. It would be surprising to me if the debut market cap was under 500 million, and it wouldn't shock me if it's over $1 billion. And I know that sounds like crazy to a lot of NFT participants, but like, is it? I don't know. Like it just there's so many things favorably going for it. And ZK, I can understand ZK's perspective of like, oh, Looks Rare, had this big pump and whatever, and there was volume that was incentivized, but like the the difference here is like I think that LooksRare could have continued to do well. Like if LooksRare continued to have a share of the market, which it doesn't, then like it would still, I think it would still be like up significantly, maybe 3x, 5x from where it is right now, 10x even. Like the answer was just like they were a potential competitor to OpenSea. They did not successfully compete with OpenSea over a long enough time horizon, and they're less relevant now. I think it's a reasonable bet to say that Blur may actually compete with OpenSea. OpenSea, I think, is in a much weaker position now than it was at that time. Now, is that for sure? No, of course not, right? Blur could be totally irrelevant in 2 months, 3 months. I think the biggest risk to Blur is that, you know, if they have proven that the model of token airdrop for, you know, an exchange still works. It is very much like, I know a lot of people looking at, oh, like let's do a vampire attack with Blur and just do the same thing, but again, and now there's a fresh airdrop. So it's more like that, like that's an existential risk to Blur, right? Like there's all these existential risks with it, but the answer is if going into a next like bullish economic macro environment, Blur continues to be at its volume ratio to OpenSea as it is right now, which I think is possible. I don't think it's, I would say it's like 50-50, maybe 40-60 even. But if you think that's even possible, like this is like, I don't know, like that's a really big deal, right? And so it still potentially has the narrative of flipping OpenSea, whereas, you know, that just didn't happen with LooksRare.
Yeah, I think that's a fair take. I think I'm in the camp that Blur will not flip OpenSea, but I 1000% think it's a much more legitimate and viable competitor than LooksRare, given I literally tweeted that LooksRare is not going to exist in 5 years, and I think I'm pretty much right about that. Last question on Blur. Will this airdrop serve as liquidity for the market, or are we expecting the market to tank even further? So basically, is the market going to pump? Is the market going to dump? Easy. Any thoughts?
Tough to say. Like for me, I think it's a liquidity catalyst for sure. The market's kind of tough right now because daily active users are stalling. So we haven't seen an influx of new users, which typically is a driving factor. I think Spencer is kind of spot on when it comes to the fact that like the market cap, I think this will flip like it looks rare. $1 billion market cap, I'm not sure if we get into that range. I think maybe day one we do, but you're going to have a lot of people selling this immediately, much like we saw with the other marketplaces. My bigger thing that I want to watch is volume on Blur following this, because in my opinion, if Blur can continue to incentivize people to hold bit like walls and like bidding and those other catalysts, then that volume continues to ramp there. Like I prefer to use Blur, just like listing, etc. But like there's still so much more liquidity on OpenSea. Like if you're looking for a quick sale, even with the royalty hit, you're listing on OpenSea. Blur makes it easier to mass list, mass delist. But aside from that, it almost needs to continue to find, incentivize, and like drive value to using that platform over in OpenSea.
Nick, any thoughts on Blur airdrops impact on the market before we start talking to our sponsors today? Worst case decision?
I'm going to be honest. The Blur side of things, I mean, the biggest takeaway, it sounds like, or at least Clemente seems to think that once this, or has highlighted speculation of the fact that, you know, once this volume dries up, that the NFT market may be going through a downturn. And frankly, I'm kind of feeling that way right now, because if you look at like crypto prices in general, it's just, we went from bullish to bearish overnight, basically, the moment that this whole SEC thing came out. And now everyone seems to believe, or the market, based on price action, well, it doesn't seem to believe that crypto is dead. Otherwise, it would have gone down more significantly. But it still did shift the overall market sentiment. And frankly, part of me feels like taking a pause on some of this activity. What we have, the only the remaining bullish catalyst is Yuga Labs is kind of carrying the market on their back. Ordinals, I understand, has a lot of attention right now. That'll be dead in a couple of weeks. We have Chat GPT and AI. You know, everyone loves tweeting about that. That'll be dead in a couple of weeks. And so, yeah, but in all seriousness, the NFT side of the market, I think the only positive catalyst that we have is Yuga at this point in time. Seems like the biggest thing. Like, can we keep buying checks? Like, can we keep, like, what other things are
open
like,
editions?
I feel like that narrative is gone, right? Our open edition is dead now. It's not quite clear to me what
Well,
the volume is going on there.
There's still more coming out, and they're actually, some of them are still definitely performing well. I just meant that iteration of the open edition market that we saw was not going to be sustainable, but everybody sort of knew that. With these trends, a lot of trends just they're not macro trends, they're micro trends, right? And the micro trends, you don't want to buy the top on them. Let's put it that way. I mean, I was surprised to see the run up on crypto prices. I don't know if you disagree with me, Nick, but like to see the run up into like the 20s for Bitcoin, for example, when everybody was like recession and layoffs and Q1's going to be soft. I was surprised to see that run up. So I'm ready for the teens.
Well, they were talking about soft landing. Was what the conversation has shifted to, which is, I don't know, maybe that happens. I'm not a macro economist. I have no clue. My commentary is heavily based on whatever I read. And so I'm not the person who's originating that information. The thing I will say is my thought for the bullishness was the hope that, quote, soft landing occurs, and that really the market tends to turn before the economy bottoms, and that can happen by like a couple months. So that's the main thing that I was sort of thinking, hey, maybe this ends up turning around, and that's kind of where I still stand on it. All of the bearishness at this point is really motivated by this sort of SEC thing. And then now we have technical bearishness as a result of it. Who's the guy that deletes every tweet? Burry, Michael Burry. He's been bearish all along, but he also is just biased bearish. But he's been saying all along that the S&P should still go down another 30% or something like that. So maybe that manifests, and this was a short-term pump. Who knows? I had sold most of my ETH into this. I don't even know if I netted out like break even. I may have even like lost after all of that like pump. I don't know. I got to look back on it. But regardless, we'll see what happens. I'm bullish as it applies to Yuga, and I hope Yuga can keep carrying this market. Maybe they start launching free NFTs and say follow one of their founders to retweet it.
Yeah, and it should be mentioned that we ran a poll for whether people are holding or selling their Blur airdrop, and 44% weighed in and said selling. So the sellers are most common when it comes to the Blur airdrop narrative, according to listeners of this show, at least. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to throw to our sponsors, Worst DAO, specifically the Worst Case Decision Project. Pinned to the top, the second tweet that's pinned is the giveaway tweet. If you retweet that tweet and follow at Worst DAO, you'll be entered for a chance to win. We're going to have 2 winners today. We've got incredibly talented artist Mark Horowitz on the show in the game from Worst DAO. Mark, thank you for coming. How's it going?
Good, guys. How are you?
Fantastic.
Thanks for the optimistic, run up to our open edition trailer. I appreciate that. But I just want you to know that we are market immune, and truly we're the fucking worst. So
well, I mean, I think everybody loves to hear that, market immune and truly the worst. Mark, why don't you tell people a little bit about your background? I mean, like I mentioned, you're an incredibly talented artist. You've been collected by some serious collectors. Like I know Travis Scott, Justin Bieber, the Kardashians, basically LA royalty has collected your work. Can you tell people a little bit about you and a little bit about Worst DAO and Worst Case Decision?
Yeah. I've been at this game for a while. I'm an artist. I was one of the early sort of, I don't know, people on YouTube. And then, I did a bunch of projects, and William Morris Endeavor started representing me as their first digital client. So I was the freak that was like getting all the funding in the beginning from Sony and YouTube and all these people. Drove my signature across the country. Started the first ever anonymous semi-nudist colony, had a pack mule in San Francisco I ran my errands on. I'm just a freak, and it's kind of fun. So like
I've been around this space for a while. So we are releasing this new project, Worst Case Decision, which is serialized content. It's animation adjacent. The first season, which drops next Wednesday at noon PST, is going to be a coffee maker that is the main character, and you can see the trailer. It's up on Zora right now. It's an open edition, and open edition trailers are still hot as fuck. So buy it up.
Sorry,
And my mom, by the way, you guys were talking about like parents and NFTs, and my mom was like, "Tell me how to buy a Zora. I want to know." It was very good.
Nick, go ahead.
You sort of glossed over the fact that you had created a semi-nudist colony, and I'm trying to understand, what is semi-nudist?
Well, this is important. It makes it legal. So it's like be legal and be free. You know what I mean? It was in a public park, so you could take your shirt off or your pants. And
in Idaho, by the way.
Yeah, it was in Nampa, Idaho, which is, you know, one of the best. It was actually rated one year as one of the best cities in America. So y'all should check it out.
One of the best cities to be nude in. Am I right?
Exactly.
And you know,
Semi-nude.
you reeled off like 3 or 4 things that you've done. It should be noted that you've been written up, like you've experienced virality through some of those, I guess you could call them stunts, but really they're like kind of performance art pieces, right? And so you're no stranger to making a splash through, you know, unorthodox expression of artwork. And as you mentioned, you were the first digital artist signed to William Morris. For people that don't know, it's one of the biggest talent agencies in the world. So you're not new to the digital art game, and you're not new to doing some kind of you know, unique stuff to get attention. Am I right about that?
Did you say I'm not nude or new? Sorry. Sorry.
We know that you are nude.
I am. You know, I'm nude. I'm just hanging outside talking on the phone. No, man, I've done a lot of stuff. I mean, I think the biggest project I did was I was working as a photo assistant for Crate and Barrel, which everybody knows. And they were like, "You're a creative guy. What do you want to write on this little dry erase board?" It was featured in this product shot. And I wrote dinner with Mark and then put my real cell phone number in there. And I had forgotten about it. And then I started getting all these calls. And then the Today Show showed up at my doorstep, which is scary as hell. But they did. And they're like, "We'd like you to be on our show." And I was like, amazing. And then right before I was to be on their show, I get a call from the CEO of Crate and Barrel. And he's like, "Bro, if you go on that show, I'm going to sue the daylights out of you." And I was like, "Man, do you realize you're talking to a photo assistant? Like, I have nothing, dude. Like, please sue me." So they didn't really have any vision, you know, as far as like how virality works. Yeah, whatever. I did that. I did a website where I gave away complete control over my decision making, and people could vote on what I do. You know, I've just led a bonkers life, man.
So I saw I pinned to the top the tweet that you have, and I minted one of these things from Worst Case Decision season 1. I bought one because look, these are $10. Like, it's not like a quarter ETH. It's not a PFP. It's a piece of art. You can grab it. I pinned the link at the top, which is right on there. These are my question is, how are you, like, what's the sequence here for this NFT? Is this just a one-time thing? Is there like additional things? Are you doing the burn mechanics like everybody else? What, like, how are you, like, what's your sort of twist on this?
Well, so the trailers are an open edition, and you know, you got to get them in numbers to unlock certain things on the site. We're dropping the first season on Wednesday, next Wednesday, and that'll be the
this
very
Wednesday.
first. Yeah, or
It's Monday now.
Jesus, God
the day after
almighty.
tomorrow.
Jesus, yeah, that's right. This Wednesday. And yeah, you'll be able to unlock PFPs and like special editions and all kinds of shit. And as far as like the burn mechanics, I kind of love the idea of additives. So like, we're just going to sell season 2 trailer. And if you just amass trailers, we're going to start unlocking like secret levels in Discord and just all kinds of weird shit. You know, and as far as this goes, we want to shoot 50 seasons of these like weird sort of shows. So this will be season 1. So it's like super, super new. And I haven't really seen entertainment content out there like this. So I'm super jazzed to have, you know, serialized videos.
No, It's definitely exciting. I'll throw to Nick in just 1 second for another question for Mark and the worst team. But ladies and gentlemen, this is your last chance. I'm going to draw the winners in just a moment. So the tweet at the top, it's the second tweet, the one that says we're giving away one worst case decision PFP and a full season of NFTs on our show. We're about to draw 2 winners. Make sure you retweet that tweet and follow Worst DAO. This is your last chance. I'm going to get the winners ready in just a second. Nick, go ahead.
Sounds like minting this was a bad decision. How many do I have to get, like, in order to get your PFP and stuff? Like, just give me a number here.
80? No, I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you. It's low. It's low. It's like doable. It's manageable. There are levels of PFPs though. If you want to achieve enlightenment, you got to get a certain number. But but there are levels, and we make it so it's attainable for everybody, man. Not like a freak.
And by enlightenment, does that mean I'll be involved with like sort of a nude meditation with you, like in the woods somewhere, and that's how we.
Semi-nude. A semi-nude meditation in the woods is what we're aiming for. That's season 4, man. That's season 4, my brother.
Mark, you're good, Mark, because just in case the lawyers are listening, law enforcement is listening, you're not going to let it slip by. It's semi-nude, ladies and gentlemen. Okay,
that's right. Come on now. The CDC just started following us this morning. I'm very excited about that.
Are you serious?
You know? No, I'm not serious.
Hey, I never know with you, man. I never know with you.
Sorry, but Dad is listening, Mr. Ben Horowitz. Hey Ben, hey Dad, give me a call. Love you, brother.
Nick, anything before I draw these winners?
Nope. That's it. It sounds like I got to get more of these things though. So I'm gonna continue making bad decisions and grab a couple more.
Well,
we are market immune, guys. Market immune. It's a bull market over here.
That's a hell of a pitch, man. Market immune.
After being semi-nude and then making a claim like that, I feel like you're just a conflict, a living, walking conflict within yourself. You know, like it's on one side we're trying to follow the indecent exposure laws while simultaneously pumping your NFT. So what's the price target you got on your floor price here?
I mean, these trailers are going to go for at least 50 ETH.
Oh my God.
I mean,
okay. That's
insane. So like, well, whatever, 100,000 X, dude, or whatever. We're artists, man. We're artists,
I just want to give a disclaimer. Anything on this show is not financial advice, but I like
unless it comes from Mark when he's not wearing pants or not wearing a shirt.
Yeah, we'll all go to the woods together and meditate on that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I got 2 winners. You got to come on stage to accept the prize, though. So you got to come on stage. So I invited you both to speak at Cordovante. So Cordovante. He's repping a Utes with a red shirt and red glasses. And then at Paracel Zeus 2. So Paracelzus number 2. You are the 2 winners right now. As long as you come on stage, you got to come on stage. Though I invited you both. All right, we got Cordovante on stage. That's 1 winner. Cordovante, how you feeling, amigo? You won.
What's up, fellas? I'm feeling good, man. I never win shit, so I buy all my NFTs.
Well, you won.
Well, you won. You won. You will be invited to the nude encampment with us.
You won one. Yeah, you won the worst case decision PFP. We're waiting for the second winner, Paracelzus, Paracelzus, number 2. If you can't get on stage because of a bug or something. Okay, he's on. All right, he DM'd me, so he won. I'm sending him winner. He's the winner of the full set. There you go. So he can't come on. Well, congratulations to both of the winners. Cordovante, I'm DMing you too.
I got one quick question. I now own 5 of these. 2 things that stood out. One is their ERC 721, not 1155 like every other open edition out there. How do I get updates as to what action I should be taking next as a holder, a major holder, soon to be whale of your project?
We'll call you. We have call services here. We got a lot of callers. No, man, we're gonna do Twitter is where all the announcements are gonna happen.
Okay, so following you on Twitter.
That's Worst DAO.
Worst DAO.
And by the way, are there any Browns fans in here, man?
Well, they
'Cause I've
played
been a
last night
lifelong
and they
Browns
lost,
fan.
you know?
I know, man. Someday we're gonna make it to the Super Bowl, guys. I'm just putting that out there. I gotta put that out there in the universe right now, just for all you Browns fans.
I thought they were in the Super
Represent.
Bowl last night and they lost. Maybe I wasn't watching the right game.
Yeah, they were in the Eagles costumes, you know.
Love to hear it. Shout out to the Browns fans,
Fuck yeah.
deceiving the Super Bowl audience by putting on different uniforms. Look, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Worst Dow and to Mark Horowitz. What a fun time here. Follow at Worst Dow. That's at WORSTDAO. And while you're at it, follow Mark too, at Mark Horowitz. Got his full name as his Twitter handle. I know Nick's jealous. There's another Nick O'Neill squatting on that thing, and that really grinds Nick's gears. Anyway,
Squatting on what?
On Nick O'Neill.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know him personally, and that guy's my arch rival and arch nemesis in life.
Wow, that makes it even worse.
He's actually a really nice guy. He's a great engineer.
That bastard. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, so Mark and the gang, any closing calls to action? Where should people go? It sounds like follow Worst Dow on Twitter is step one. Wednesday, we got a mint coming up. Anything else people need to know?
Yeah, just go to worstcasedecision.com. And, good luck spelling decision, everybody. Come on, reach into those, second grade spelling roots. That's it, man. It's going to be an awesome release. We're looking forward to it, man. Thanks for having us, guys. And we're big fans.
Absolutely. Our pleasure. We're big fans too. What a fun time. Ladies and